Ever wonder why some people always seem to get others to say yes, no matter the situation? What's their secret? What if I told you there's actually a science to persuasion? Imagine if you could master these principles and apply them every day to get more people to say yes. Whether it's closing a deal or you're trying to get someone on board with your ideas. My name is Adnan, and I've been in sales for nearly 25 years. I've had the privilege of becoming the highest producing rep in my $150 million office for nearly a decade straight. And along the way, I've discovered what works and what does not. When it comes to persuasion, today I'm sharing 5 science-backed strategies that I use every day to get people to say yes. These aren't just tricks, these are proven principles that I've tested in the real world. Let's jump in. Let's kick things off with one of the oldest tricks in the book, reciprocity. This is a powerful principle that Dr. Robert Cialdini talks about in his research on persuasion. People are hardwired to return favors. If you give something, they feel an obligation to give something back. For example, a simple gesture like offering valuable advice, a free resource, or even a small, sincere compliment can set the stage for getting someone's yes. It's about creating that feeling of reciprocity. One of the classic studies on this is when Dr. Cialdini's team gave free chocolate samples to clients in a store. They found that those who received a free sample were significantly more likely to make a purchase compared to those who didn't get one. The simple act of receiving something for free creates this subconscious feeling of obligation to return the favor. This principle is everywhere, in sales, marketing, especially in retail. If you think about it, it's why so many stores offer free samples or why they get you those free trial offers online. It's all about getting that small yes first so the bigger yes comes later. Next up is social proof. This is used all over TV ads. McDonald's inviting you to come join them where millions enjoy a meal with them. Toothpaste companies telling you that this is the brand that your dentist recommends. People naturally look to others when making decisions, especially when they're unsure. You've probably heard of the term keeping up with the Joneses. And that's exactly what this is about. There's an amazing study by Solomon Asch that showed how people conform to group behavior, even when they were uncertain. They basically follow the crowd. I'll share an example of a close friend in the roofing industry, and he's a master at using this principle. He uses social proof in nearly every appointment, especially with tough clients. I remember one time he was talking to a homeowner who was a bit on the fence about replacing their roof. My friend empathized with them and said, "I completely get it. Deciding on a new roof is a big step." A lot of homeowners felt the same way. He then shared a story. The Martin family, a few streets over, had the same material we're looking at today. They were initially unsure. But after the first big rain, they told me they felt a huge sense of relief knowing that their home was protected. Hearing that so many of their neighbors were already making the investment made the decision a lot easier for the homeowner. By the end of the conversation, they were sold. This is social proof in action. When people see others, especially people they can relate to, making the same choice, it reduces hesitation and builds confidence in their decision. All right, let's talk about one of my favorite techniques, mirroring. This might be my favorite, and I love using this the most. Be careful not to overdo it. Start small and remember less is more when you practice this. A recent study from NYU found that people are more likely to say yes when you subtly mirror their tone, language, and even body language. I've used this technique countless times and it works wonders. Here's an example. I went to a prospect's home recently to talk about replacing their windows. Now, when I showed up, I was greeted by a tough, no-nonsense homeowner who immediately seemed skeptical. He had his arms crossed and said, "Look, I don't have all day. I'm not looking to spend a fortune on windows. Let's just get this over with quickly." Now, in the past, I might have tried to win him over with a bunch of energy and sales talk, but this time I used mirroring. Instead of being high energy, I matched his serious, reserved demeanor. I said, "I hear you. You want to keep things simple and to the point. Let's go over the important details and I'll make sure we don't waste your time." Right away, he relaxed a bit. He saw that I wasn't there to push him. I was speaking his language. As we continued, I kept mirroring his priorities. When he said, "I don't care about fancy features, I just need something that gets the job done," I mirrored that and said, "I got it. You're looking for something reliable that does the job without the extras. Let me show you a great option that's practical and built to last." Now he felt understood. And as the conversation went on, I slowly shifted my energy to a more positive tone. By the end, he was asking questions about warranty and efficiency and seemed genuinely interested. This is the power of mirroring. It's about making the other person feel heard and guiding them to a yes without pushing them. This has been a common practice used by hostage negotiators to win people over for a long time. So start small and understand that this game is like playing poker. It takes 5 minutes to learn, but a lifetime to master. Next up is contrast principle, which is all about making your offer look like a no-brainer. Here's how it works. When you present the high-priced item first, anything after that seems much more reasonable. It's a classic psychological trick that works every time. Let me give you an example. You walk into a car dealership, instead of showing you the mid-range SUV you had in mind, the salesperson takes you straight to the luxury model. It's got all the bells and whistles, the leather seats, the top-tier technology, and the price tag, $75,000. Now, you love the car, but when you hear that price, you think, "Whoa, that's out of my budget." Then the salesperson says, "Okay, if you're looking for something more cost-effective, let me show you this one. It has many of the same features, but at just $38,000. Suddenly, that $38,000 SUV seems pretty good, right? It actually feels like a bargain compared to the $75,000 one. This is contrast principle in action. By showing you the expensive option first, the second option seems way more reasonable, even though it's still a big investment. In the end, it's all about perspective. Finally, let's talk about the power of pause. This one is huge. A recent study in negotiation found that people tend to fill silence with concessions or agreements. So next time you're in a conversation, use silence to your advantage. I can't tell you how many times I've seen salespeople make an amazing presentation only to ruin it by talking too much afterward. You've got to let your prospect process what you've said. Resist the urge to jump in with more words. I'll give you an example from my own experience. Last week, I was in a home presenting a window replacement project. After I answered all their questions and presented my product to the best of my ability, the homeowner loved everything. So naturally, I asked for the business. There was a long pause, followed by a sigh, and then another pause. Instead of letting them process and think through their decision, I panicked and said, "Well, if the price is a concern, maybe we can scale things back. Maybe we can consider a different option." I immediately realized my mistake. They started second-guessing themselves. I interrupted their thought process. They told me they needed time to think things through, and they'll get back to me with an answer. And guess what? I never heard from them again. The takeaway here is that you lose more deals by talking too much. than by saying nothing at all. Let your prospects think. Let them process. And when you use silence strategically, you'll be amazed at how many people fill that space with a yes. So there you have it. The 5 science-backed strategies that will help you get more yeses in your life. Reciprocity, social proof, mirroring, the contrast principle, and the power of pause. These aren't just theories. These are proven techniques that I use every day in my career. Here's my challenge to you. Next time you're in a conversation, whether it's with a client or a colleague or a friend, apply one of these techniques and watch how the conversation changes. It's all about making people feel understood, building trust, and guiding them to a decision. If you find these helpful, please hit that like button and subscribe for more. And you might enjoy this video right here that I'm going to put in the screen. Thank you again for watching, and have a great day.